Picture this. It's 24/7 in the morning, no audience, no applause. Just you, the quiet hum of your own breath, and that voice inside your head that says, keep going. Most people will never see this version of you. The one who works when it's inconvenient. The one who doesn't post it, doesn't brag about it, doesn't need someone to tell you you're doing great. Because you already know. The work isn't meant to be seen yet. We live in a world obsessed with noise. Everyone's talking, everyone's showing, everyone wants to be noticed. But what if I told you the loudest person in the room is rarely the most powerful one? The real power, the kind that changes your life, rewrites your story, and silences doubters, comes from the work you do when nobody's watching. The truth is, silence has a sound. It's the rhythm of repetition, the grind of consistency, the echo of self-discipline. It's the sound of you getting better, day after day while the world sleeps. And one day, when you walk into that room, when your results finally speak for you, people won't understand how it happened. They'll call it luck. They'll call it talent. But you'll know it was work, in silence, relentless, unseen, unapologetic. 2. This is not about proving anyone wrong. It's about proving yourself right. Because the moment you start chasing validation, you've already given away your power. 2. But the moment you stop talking and start building, the universe starts listening. So if you've ever felt overlooked, if you've ever felt underestimated, good. Stay there. That's your edge. That's your quiet corner to sharpen your skills, harden your mindset, and prepare for that moment when your success walks in before you do. 2. You don't need to announce what's coming. You don't need to explain your process. Let them wonder. Let them doubt. Let them talk. Because while they're making noise, you're making progress. And when the day comes, and it will come when your results stand in front of them like a mirror, they won't see you the same way again. That's not revenge. That's revelation. That's the power of working hard in silence and shocking them with your success. Silence. It's one of the most misunderstood forms of strength in our world today. People mistake silence for weakness. They assume that if you're quiet, you have nothing to say, nothing to prove, nothing to offer. But silence isn't emptiness, it's composure, it's control. It's the weapon of people who don't need to announce their power because they're too busy mastering it. You see, noise is easy. Talking is easy. Anyone can fill a room with words, opinions, or promises. But very few can sit in stillness, hold their energy, and let their actions do the talking. That takes a different kind of courage, the kind that doesn't crave attention, the kind that's focused on becoming, not performing. When you choose silence, you choose clarity. You stop reacting to every distraction that demands your focus. You stop explaining yourself to people who've already made up their minds. You start saving your energy for what actually matters, your craft, your mission, your evolution. The world will constantly tempt you to prove yourself, to show your progress before it's ready, to speak before you've mastered the message. But real power lies in restraint. The most dangerous people you'll ever meet aren't the ones who shout about what they're going to do. They're the ones who move in silence, who let the world underestimate them while they prepare behind the scenes. They don't argue. They don't defend. They don't chase validation. They prepare, execute, and deliver. When they show up, they don't need an introduction. The results speak their language. Think about it. Every great transformation starts in quiet spaces. The athlete trains when no one is watching. The artist paints before anyone cares. The entrepreneur builds ideas in notebooks long before the first investor believes. The soldier sharpens his instincts in silence before the mission begins. There's something sacred about the work done behind closed doors. It's pure. It's honest. It's stripped of applause and judgment. It's just you and your will. When you embrace silence, you begin to realize how loud the world really is. Everyone wants to be seen. Everyone wants to go viral. Everyone wants instant results, instant recognition, instant gratification. But while they chase attention, you're building endurance. While they're talking, you're learning. While they're seeking approval, you're earning respect. There's a deep kind of confidence that grows in silence. It's not fragile or dependent on someone's opinion of you. It's internal. It's the confidence that comes from keeping promises to yourself, from showing up when no one else does, from knowing you can handle discomfort, rejection, and doubt without breaking. It's not about proving yourself to the world. It's about proving to yourself that you can stay disciplined, focused, and patient, even when the world isn't watching. The truth is, silence reveals who you really are. When there's no audience, no feedback, no validation, what's left? just you. And that's where the real work begins. That's where you confront your weaknesses, your excuses, your fears. That's where you learn that growth doesn't need an audience, it needs consistency. We often think strength is loud, assertive, visible, dominant. But the strongest people I've ever known were calm, unshackable. They didn't react, they responded. They didn't need to announce every win or justify every loss. They moved with quiet certainty because they understood something most people don't. Power doesn't need permission to exist. When you learn to be silent, you stop feeding your ego and start feeding your mission. You stop performing and start producing, and that's when things start to shift. People begin to notice, not because you told them to, but because your growth becomes undeniable. You become the person who doesn't have to say a word for others to feel your presence. Silence teaches you patience. It trains your mind to resist the pull of immediacy. It forces you to slow down, observe, and make calculated moves instead of emotional ones. You start realizing that not everything deserves your reaction. Some battles are won simply by not engaging. Some victories are secured by staying focused when everyone else is distracted. But here's the catch: silence isn't passive. It's not about hiding or avoiding conflict. It's an active state of power. It's choosing to channel your energy toward creation instead of confrontation. It's about mastering the art of holding back until the right moment, knowing that your impact will be stronger because you didn't waste your fire on noise. Silence also exposes truth. When you stop talking, you start hearing things more clearly. Your intuition, your instincts, the subtle signs life sends you. You notice patterns. You learn who's genuine and who's performing. You learn how to read the room, read people, read yourself. That awareness, that sharpness, comes only when you step out of the noise and into your own stillness. And yes, sometimes your silence will make people uncomfortable. They'll misinterpret it. They'll project their insecurities onto it. But that's not your problem. Your silence isn't meant to please them. It's meant to protect you. Because every time you react, every time you explain, you give away a piece of your power. Silence keeps it intact. There's a reason lions don't roar all day. They conserve their energy for when it matters. They don't chase validation. They embody dominance. When they move, the jungle feels it. You're no different. You don't need to prove yourself every minute of every day. Let your work, your discipline, your excellence speak when the time is right. So, the next time someone doubts you, don't argue. Don't post about it. Don't waste your breath trying to convince them. Just nod, smile, and go back to work. Let their noise become background music to your mission. Because one day the same people who ignored your silence will be the ones talking about your success. That's when you'll realize the silence was never a weakness. It was your preparation. It was your edge. It was your advantage all along. And when your results finally speak, when your success walks into the room before you do, everyone will hear it. Not because you were loud, but because you were undeniable. That's the essence of power. Quiet, focused, unstoppable. Discipline is not glamorous. It's not a highlight reel. It's not a motivational quote. And it's definitely not what people post on social media. Discipline is what happens in the shadows. The part no one talks about. The part that doesn't feel good, the part that separates people who wish from people who win. It's the quiet repetition of doing what you said you'd do, long after the excitement has faded. It's the choice to show up even when you'd rather not, even when no one would know if you quit. Most people crave results, but very few are willing to pay the price for them. They want the success story, but not the silence that comes before it. They want the applause, but not the hours of unseen grind that earn it. But here's the truth: success doesn't come from talent, luck, or opportunity alone. It comes from the kind of discipline that happens when nobody's watching, the kind that doesn't need an audience, the kind that thrives in obscurity. Every great life is built on invisible effort. Think of the athlete who trains before sunrise, the student who studies after everyone else has gone to bed, the leader who reads, plans, and prepares long after the crowd stops paying attention. You'll never see those moments posted online because they're not exciting. They're repetitive, they're hard, they're boring. But they are the foundation of greatness. Discipline isn't about intensity, it's about consistency. Anyone can be disciplined for a day. Anyone can wake up early once or twice, eat healthy for a week, or work hard when they feel inspired. But discipline is what happens when the motivation disappears. It's the ability to act on principle, not emotion. It's waking up when your body wants to rest. It's choosing focus when distractions surround you. It's holding yourself accountable when no one else will, and that's why so few people truly embody it. Because discipline doesn't feel good in the moment, it feels restrictive, it feels monotonous, it feels lonely. But that's the cost of mastery. You can't build strength in comfort. You can't earn excellence without repetition. Every rep, every study session, every late night, every early morning, they compound quietly and visibly until one day they make you unstoppable. You can always tell who has lived with discipline. They move differently. They speak differently. There's a calm confidence in their eyes, not arrogance, but certainty. They've spent years keeping promises to themselves, so they don't need approval to know their worth. They trust their preparation. They know that behind every small, unseen effort lies the power that makes visible success possible. People will call you obsessed. They'll say you're too strict, too focused, too intense. They won't understand why you turn down distractions, why you say no to comfort, why you spend so much time alone. Let them talk, too. Because discipline is not supposed to be understood. It's supposed to be felt. It's a contract between you and your purpose, signed in private and honored in silence. Here's the thing about discipline. It doesn't shout. It doesn't demand attention. But its results are loud. You'll start to see it in your progress, in your resilience, in the way you handle challenges. You'll begin to move through setbacks differently. You won't panic when things fall apart, because you've been training for this. You've been building a mindset that can't be shaken by one bad day, one rejection, or one failure. That's the kind of strength that only discipline builds. There will be days when you want to quit, days when you question why you're doing all this when no one seems to notice, days when you feel invisible, too. But those are the days that matter most. Because that's when your discipline is being tested. That's when you either build the muscle of resilience or you break under the weight of comfort. The ones who make it, the ones who truly succeed, are not the most gifted. They're the ones who kept going when no one was clapping. You'll also learn that discipline isn't rigid, it's intelligent, too. It's not about punishing yourself, it's about guiding yourself. It's about having structure so you can have freedom. Because when you're disciplined, you own your time. You own your habits, you own your mind. You're not ruled by impulses, moods, or distractions. You command them. That's real freedom. Discipline teaches you to delay gratification, to plant seeds today that may not bear fruit for months or years. 2. It's the art of patience in a world addicted to instant rewards. Most people quit because they can't handle the quiet season of effort without recognition. But if you can push through that phase, if you can stay consistent when results seem invisible, you'll find yourself among the rare few who win not because they're better, but because they're relentless. The truth is, discipline is lonely, but that loneliness is where you grow. It's where you meet the real you, the one without the audience. The filters the noise. You learn what you're made of. You learn to lead yourself. And that's the greatest power you can ever have. The ability to depend on yourself, to trust yourself, to push yourself when no one else will. And over time, something beautiful happens. What once felt like discipline begins to feel like identity. You stop fighting with yourself to do the right things. It becomes who you are. You no longer force yourself to wake up early. You just do. You no longer struggle to say no to distractions. It's automatic. The habits that once took everything out of you now build everything within you. That's when discipline becomes freedom. And when your moment comes, and it will, when people finally see the results, they'll call it talent. They'll say you were lucky. They'll try to explain it away because they didn't see the years of quiet work, the sacrifices, the self-control, the 1,000 tiny decisions you made when no one was watching. But you'll know. You'll know that nothing about your success was accidental. You built it. One disciplined day at a time, so keep working in the dark. Keep doing the things that no one sees. Don't crave the recognition. Don't seek the applause. Let the silence be your training ground and the routine be your weapon. Because one day, when the lights finally turn on, when the results finally speak for you, the world will realize what you already knew, that discipline isn't just the path to success. It's the price of it. And you paid it. Quietly. Consistently. Completely. Energy is your most valuable currency. Not money. Not time. Energy. Because no matter how much time you have, if your energy is scattered, you'll never build anything meaningful. And yet most people spend their energy recklessly, giving it away to validation, opinions, arguments, and empty noise. They don't realize that every scroll, every comparison, every need to be seen drains their fuel. And when it's time to work on themselves, they have nothing left. You can't build greatness on drained batteries. You can't create when you're consumed by distraction. The truth is, managing your energy is more important than managing your schedule. You can make all the plans in the world, but if your mind is tired and your spirit is restless, you'll sabotage yourself before you even begin to. That's why the people who go far aren't always the most talented. They're the ones who learn to protect their energy like it's gold. Validation is a silent thief. It disguises itself as motivation. You tell yourself you're just sharing your progress, that you're just connecting with others, but underneath that is a craving. The need to be seen, to be acknowledged, to be told you're doing well. But here's the danger. The moment you depend on external validation, you lose control of your internal drive. Your work stops being about excellence and starts being about approval. You become a performer instead of a builder. Energy flows where attention goes. Every time you chase someone's approval, every time you scroll through comments or compare your journey to someone else's highlight reel, you're leaking energy. You're giving away pieces of yourself to things that don't move you forward. That constant need for validation creates emotional debt. The kind that keeps you anxious, reactive, and insecure. You start measuring your progress not by your growth, but by how others perceive it. And that's a losing game, because people's opinions are unpredictable. You have to learn to stand strong in silence, to do the work for the work's sake, to find satisfaction in the process, not the praise. That's where your energy becomes unstoppable, when it's no longer influenced by who's watching. The moment you stop performing for validation and start working for purpose, you become dangerous in the best way possible. You move differently. You stop chasing. You start attracting. Protecting your energy means saying no a lot. No to distractions. No to meaningless conversations. No to people who drain your focus. You'll have to become selective about where you invest your attention, because not everything deserves it. Energy is finite. You only have so much to give each day, and you must decide whether to waste it on being liked or use it to build something that lasts. Think of yourself like a high-performance engine. If you keep burning fuel on small, meaningless things, you'll never have enough power for the big moments. The elite know this, too. They conserve their energy for what truly matters. They don't chase every opportunity. They don't react to every comment. They know that attention is expensive, and they spend it wisely. That there's also emotional energy, the quiet kind that fuels your mindset. It's drained not by hard work, but by overthinking, worrying, and over-explaining yourself. How many times have you replayed a conversation in your head, trying to justify yourself to someone who wasn't even listening? How many hours have you lost wondering what others think of you? That's energy you'll never get back. Every time you do it, you give away your peace. The strongest people don't waste time convincing anyone of their worth. They're too focused on their mission. They understand that opinions are just noise, and energy is the amplifier of everything. If you put it into doubt, you amplify fear. If you put it into purpose, you amplify growth. That's why mastering your energy isn't just about focus. It's about emotional intelligence. It's about knowing where your attention belongs and having the discipline to keep it there. You'll notice that when you stop seeking validation, your energy starts to expand. You become more grounded, more centered. You start to notice how calm feels stronger than chaos. You begin to trust your instincts instead of crowds. That calmness, that inner stillness, becomes your superpower. You stop reacting and you start responding. You stop chasing and you start creating, and suddenly your results begin to speak louder than your words ever could. Validation is temporary. It fades as soon as you get it. But self-respect, the kind that comes from discipline, focus, and alignment, that lasts. It's renewable energy. It comes from within. Every time you do the hard thing, every time you stay consistent when no one notices, every time you choose integrity over applause, you generate more of it. You don't need anyone to tell you you're doing great. You feel it because you know you're living on purpose. And yes, there will be moments when your silence feels isolating. You'll watch others get recognition while you're still grinding in the dark. You'll wonder if you're doing enough, if you're being left behind. But stay focused, because validation gives you short bursts of energy. Discipline gives you endurance. And endurance always wins in the long run. Energy management is about understanding your triggers. Who drains you? What environments distract you? What habits rob you of focus? Be honest about them, then cut them out. You don't owe anyone constant access to your energy. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. Protecting your peace isn't arrogance, it's survival. The clearer your boundaries, the stronger your focus becomes. And here's the paradox. The more you protect your energy, the more powerful it becomes. People will start to notice your presence without you saying a word. Your silence will carry weight because your energy is no longer diluted. You're not everywhere. You're intentional. You're not exhausted. You're efficient. You're not seeking attention. You're commanding it through results. So stop wasting fuel on validation. Don't burn your energy trying to prove anything. Let your results do that. Use your energy to build, to create, to learn, to push yourself to levels most people never reach. Let the doubters doubt, the critics talk, the crowd judge. You have work to do, real work. One day when your success arrives, and it will, they'll wonder how you did it. They'll say you came out of nowhere. They'll talk about your luck, your timing, your connections. But you'll know the truth. You didn't waste your energy trying to impress them. You invested it in yourself. You built your strength quietly, one disciplined choice at a time. And that's what real power looks like. Not loud, not flashy, just focused. A calm fire that burns without needing to be seen. Steady, deliberate, unstoppable. That's the energy that shocks the world. Not because it asked to be noticed, but because it became impossible to ignore. Success has a way of silencing a room, too. It's not the noise of bragging or the echo of applause. It's the quiet impact of results that can't be denied. When you've spent years working in silence, when you've built something brick by brick without demanding attention, the moment your success finally shows up, it hits differently. It's not loud, it's powerful. It doesn't seek validation, it commands respect. That's the shock of success. The kind that leaves people speechless because they never saw it coming. They doubted you. They overlooked you. They may have even laughed at you. But you never wasted time explaining yourself. You kept your head down and your hands busy. While they talked, you worked. While they compared, you created. And now, the same people who once questioned you will have no choice but to confront what your discipline, focus, and silence have produced. The shock of success isn't about revenge. It's not about proving anyone wrong. It's about proving your potential right, too. It's about becoming the person you always knew you could be, the one who refused to settle for mediocrity or be defined by others' expectations. The best part of it is that when your success speaks, it speaks a language that everyone understands. Results. You don't have to explain it, justify it, or defend it. It stands on its own, undeniable and unshakable. People often think success is about one big moment, one breakthrough, one lucky event. But real success is a slow burn. It's the accumulation of all those quiet days when you showed up with no audience, no applause, no guarantee. It's forged in the early mornings, the sleepless nights, the sacrifices no one saw. That's why, when it finally arrives, it carries a gravity that words can't match. You see, the world respects what it can't ignore. When you talk too much about what you're going to do, people tune out. They've heard it before. But when you actually do it, when your work speaks for itself, people stop and listen. You don't have to shout. You don't have to convince. 2. Your results become the message. Your consistency becomes the proof. That's what makes success shocking. It reveals the depth of what's been happening in silence all along. Imagine walking into a room where you were once dismissed. The same people who underestimated you now whisper your name. The energy changes. It's not about ego. It's about realization. They realize you weren't idle. You weren't invisible. You were preparing. And when that preparation meets opportunity, it creates a kind of success that feels effortless to others, but carries years of invisible effort behind it. That's the beauty of quiet work. It compounds. Every bit of effort, every drop of sweat, every hour of focus becomes a part of the foundation that holds your success upright. By the time people notice, too, you're already 10 steps ahead. They think it happened overnight because they didn't see the 1,000 nights that came before it. That's not their fault. It's just the nature of silent work. Greatness doesn't announce itself. It appears fully formed, and by the time it does, it's too big to ignore. But when success comes, you'll face a new test, staying grounded. And 2, because the shock of success can turn into arrogance if you forget where it started. You have to remember the silence that built you, the nights you doubted yourself but kept going anyway. That humility will keep your success sustainable. Because the truth is, success built on ego collapses. Success built on discipline endures. There's a reason the phrase, "let your results speak," carries so much weight. Words are fragile. Promises can be broken. Opinions change with the wind. But results are evidence. They're tangible, measurable, undeniable. They quiet critics without a single argument. They convert doubt into belief. And the best part, they do it effortlessly. When people see your success, some will be inspired. Others will be uncomfortable. Some will applaud you sincerely, while others will try to diminish what you've achieved. That's human nature. But none of it should move you. You didn't build your success for their approval, you built it for your purpose. You didn't climb this far just to explain yourself now. Let them talk. Let them wonder. Their confusion is the echo of your growth. The shock of success also teaches you who's real. When you were silent, only a few believed in you. When you succeed, everyone suddenly knows your name. That's the moment you learn the difference between people who love the journey and people who love the spotlight. Don't lose your focus trying to manage their perceptions. Stay connected to the ones who saw your worth before your results proved it. Stay loyal to the process that made you who you are. And don't forget, this success isn't the finish line, it's a checkpoint. It's a moment to pause, not to rest permanently. The same discipline that got you here will be the discipline that takes you further. If you start chasing applause after you've earned success, you'll lose the very essence that created it. Protect your quiet fire. Protect your focus. Because the higher you rise, the more tempting the noise becomes. When your success shocks people, it's not because you wanted to stun them. It's because you refused to stop working when no one cared. It's because you didn't need to announce every step, every plan, every goal. You gave your energy to action, not attention. And that's what makes the impact so powerful. It's unexpected. It's undeniable. People will look at you and say, "You changed." But you didn't. You simply became visible. You were always this person, the one who believed, who worked, who stayed consistent. The only difference now is that the world can finally see what silence was building. And in that moment, remember to stay composed. Smile, not in arrogance, but in quiet gratitude. Because your success is not just a reward, it's a reminder of every moment you refused to quit. Every morning you chose discipline over comfort. Every night you chose faith over doubt. Those choices shape the person who now stands tall. That's the real shock of success. It's not in the numbers, not in the applause, not in the headlines. It's in the fact that you stayed true to the process when no one else believed it would work. It's in the quiet satisfaction of knowing you did it your way, honestly, consistently, relentlessly. So let your results speak. Don't dilute their power by trying to explain them. You've earned the right to let your work stand on its own. Let the silence of your past meet the volume of your success. Because when that moment comes, and it will, people won't remember your words. They'll remember your results. They'll remember the shock. And deep down, you'll know it wasn't sudden at all. It was years of silent effort finally being heard. Integrity, humility, the long game. 3 things the world often forgets once success starts making noise. But if silence built you, integrity sustains you. If discipline carried you, humility protects you. And if all of that made you rise, the long game will make sure you stay there. Because true success isn't just about reaching the top. It's about staying grounded when you do. It's about building something so solid that no trend, no opinion, and no ego can shake it. Integrity is doing what's right even when no one's looking. Especially when no one's looking. It's the standard you hold yourself to when there's no applause, no consequence, no pressure. It's the quiet contract between you and your conscience that says, "I don't do this for attention. I do it because it's who I am." Most people only act right when someone's watching. But integrity means that your character stays consistent whether the lights are on or off. It's about alignment. Your actions matching your values, your words matching your work. When you live with integrity, you earn something more valuable than fame or money. You earn trust. And trust, once earned, becomes your reputation's armor. People might doubt your skills, they might question your choices, but they can never challenge your character if it's built on truth. In a world full of shortcuts, authenticity becomes your competitive edge. Because everyone can fake effort for a while, but integrity never cracks under pressure. Success will test that integrity. It'll whisper temptations in your ear. The easy path, the fast win, the chance to cut corners because no one will ever know, But that's when your silence has to speak louder than the noise. That's when you remember that your success means nothing if you have to compromise your principles to keep it. A moment of dishonesty might bring quick gain, but it always costs long-term respect, and once that's gone, rebuilding it is almost impossible. Humility, though, is what keeps success from rotting your soul. It's the reminder that no matter how far you've come, you didn't do it alone. There were people who guided you, moments of grace that favored you, too, and lessons you didn't even know you needed until life handed them to you. Humility doesn't mean downplaying your success. It means acknowledging that you're still learning. It's understanding that you can be both proud and teachable at the same time. The loudest mistake people make after achieving success is thinking they've arrived. They start believing their own hype. They stop listening. They lose the curiosity that once made them hungry. That's when success starts slipping through their fingers, not because they lost talent, but because they lost humility. The moment you think you know it all, you stop growing. The moment you stop growing, you start fading. Humility keeps your feet on the ground while your dreams reach the sky. It reminds you that every win comes with a responsibility. To keep working, to keep learning, to keep lifting others as you climb. The ones who last, the ones whose success echoes through time, are the ones who never let success change their character. They stay approachable, they keep listening, they keep serving, and then there's the long game, the one most people never play. Because the long game isn't sexy. It's not about viral moments or instant results, it's about patience, vision, and endurance. It's about planting seeds you might not see bloom for years. The long game requires a kind of faith that doesn't crumble when progress moves slowly. It's the belief that consistency outlasts everything, trends, noise, doubt, even failure. Playing the long game means accepting that some seasons will be quiet. You'll see others rise faster, win quicker, and get noticed sooner. But you'll also see them fade just as fast, because what's built in haste rarely lasts. The long game teaches you that sustainability matters more than speed. You're not just building success, you're building longevity. You're not just chasing moments, you're crafting legacy. There's a calm power in not rushing. When you play the long game, you stop comparing timelines, you stop craving immediate applause, you start focusing on mastery, the slow, deliberate process of getting better every single day. You're not looking for the next big win, you're investing in who you're becoming. That's the kind of success that compounds quietly until one day it looks effortless. But it never was. The long game also demands humility because it's full of setbacks. You'll fail, you'll be overlooked, you'll question yourself. But those moments are part of the design. They refine you. They strip away ego. They test your motives. Every setback forces you to choose, quit, complain, or keep going. And when you keep going, you strengthen your foundation. You become unshakable. Integrity gives you direction. Humility keeps you teachable. The long game gives you perspective. Together, they create a kind of power that doesn't just rise. It lasts. You see, anyone can shock people once with success, but real mastery is shocking them again and again by maintaining it. Gracefully, consistently, authentically. That's what separates the temporary from the timeless. The ones who last are the ones who remember where they came from, who still put in the work, who still treat people with respect no matter how high they climb. Because success without character is fragile, but success built on integrity and humility becomes legacy. So when your success finally comes, when your silence turns into impact, when your discipline becomes visible, stay calm, stay kind, stay grounded. Remember the version of you who worked in the dark with no recognition. That version of you deserves to lead the one standing in the light. Don't lose that hunger, that humility, that integrity, and keep playing the long game. Don't let the fast pace of the world rush you into mediocrity. Every step you take with patience and purpose builds strength that shortcuts can't imitate. The people chasing quick fame will burn out. The ones who stay disciplined, who protect their values, who think decades ahead, they'll still be standing long after the noise fades. Because the goal was never just to shock them once. The goal was to build something that endures, something that doesn't need to be shouted from rooftops, because it speaks for itself. Through your work, your character, and your consistency. When it's all said and done, success that lasts isn't measured by how loud it gets, but by how many lives it touches, how deeply it's rooted, and how quietly it continues to grow. So stay humble, stay real, stay steady. The world might not always notice your silence today, but one day it will hear the echo of everything you built with integrity, patience, and grace. That's the long game. Not a sprint, but a legacy in motion. Built quietly, carried proudly, lived fully. There comes a moment in every journey when the noise fades, and it's just you, the person who started it all. No audience, no spotlight, no one to impress, just the reflection of the person who refused to give up, who worked when it wasn't popular, who believed when no one else did. That's when you realize something powerful. You were never competing with anyone else. The only person you were ever supposed to beat was the one you were yesterday. Working hard in silence was never about hiding. It was about building. It was about choosing growth over validation, purpose over popularity, and mastery over attention. You've learned to move without announcing, to prepare without showing, and to trust that when the time comes, your results will speak louder than your words ever could. The world doesn't need another loud voice. It needs living proof. Proof that discipline still matters. Proof that patience still wins. Proof that integrity still stands when everything else falls apart. Let you be that proof. Let your life be the quiet example that others can follow, the one that shows what's possible when you stop talking and start doing. And remember this, silence was never weakness, it was preparation. Every unseen hour, every unnoticed effort, every time you pushed forward without applause was a brick in the foundation of the person you've become. That's your advantage. That's your story. Now it's time to walk into every room, not with noise, but with presence. Let them feel the work you've done. To let them see the difference between someone who talks about success and someone who is success. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to explain anything. Just keep doing what you've always done. Work hard, stay humble, stay consistent. Because one day they'll ask how you did it. They'll ask where you came from. They'll call it luck or timing or talent. But you'll know the truth. It was silence. It was focus. It was relentless effort. So keep moving quietly. Keep building deliberately. Keep your head down and your standards high. And when the world finally turns to look your way, let your success do what silence always promised it would do. Shock them. Not with words, not with noise, but with results that speak for themselves. That's how legends are made, not loudly, but unforgettably.